I want to be my own boss. I don't want to take orders from anyone. It's hard to take orders from other people when you know you have, I want to say, when you have that drive of knowing you could do something better with yourself and something that you love doing.
I'm Crystal, and welcome back to today's Crystal's Light. And today's guest is someone who I have known my entire life. She is a real go-getter. She is one of the few entrepreneurs that I know, and she's a great mom. She is my cousin, and I love her dearly. Welcome to the show, Kernesha. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome.
Well, we're glad to hear that. We're always, glad to hear people are doing awesome. So as I just said, that you are an entrepreneur, and I don't know a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, but one thing I want to know about that is like, what made you want to become an entrepreneur? Like, what inspired you?
So we keeping it real?
Yeah. Yes. Tell us,
Keeping it
please. Like, break it
um,
down. We want everybody to be able to understand what you're trying to say. Break it down, please.
okay. Well, for one, I love fashion.
Okay.
Fashion just makes a person feel more at ease, comfortable. If you're feeling you're just down, you want to make sure you have that outfit, that wear to just make you feel more at ease. Also, I want to be my own boss. I don't want to take orders from anyone. It's hard to take orders from other people when you know you have that I'm trying to get the words that I want to say. When you have that drive of knowing you could do something better with yourself and something that you love doing yourself. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to just become my own boss, brand out with my own business and just push forward.
So even as a child, was there something that you wanted to do? Because it's like for me, it was never a thing for me up until like maybe recently, but like I never considered it. And I know some people it's just in them. Like, was there something specific that happened, or it just always been in you?
It always been in me. Even when before I had my first son modeling school. So I knew I wanted to be somebody at that point, even when, you know, having him, going to modeling school. And then after I had him, I didn't have the drive to do it anymore. So I stopped, and later on years, I started selling purses. And I did that for a couple of years. I stopped doing that, started back selling clothes. So it was our own thing that I wanted to do. So I knew it was something that, I just love doing.
Okay, and so in the process, like the entire time, has there been anything that's been like really challenging for you that you feel like, this is something I didn't expect, and I got to make sure that I work a little harder, but now I know better, I can do differently.
Something different because your phone had went out. I couldn't.
Oh yeah. Is there anything that you can think of that you feel like was very challenging and you kind of overcame it? You kind of figured out how to do it.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of challenges doing your own business because you have your up and your downs. And I think every business have their ups and downs as far as managing, especially doing it by themselves. When you have a team, it's different. But when you're doing it by yourself, with me, looking for clothes, trying to figure out what would somebody like or if they wouldn't like it, because what I like, other people may not like, vice versa. So, trying to model your own clothes and getting people to do your hair, your makeup. And so it's a lot learning, and it's a learning process. And again, it goes back to having your good days and your bad days of selling, but you can't never let that get you down. You have to just keep moving and push forward.
Okay, so let's say you got somebody like me who wants to be, an entrepreneur, they're like new to it. What advice would you give them from your experience?
Patience, patience. You have to have patience because everything is not going to work overnight. I don't care how bad you want it. It's patience and time and consistency. That's the key word. You have to keep going and pushing because I mean, I actually need that advice for myself because whenever I have a bad week or a bad month, I'm in a slump of, oh God, this is it's not working, it's not for me. Then I have to get back on my feet and say, okay, Nisha, everybody have good days, everybody have bad days. It's not gonna always go good, but you have to just keep going forward and pushing if this is something that you want to do. And every time that I felt like giving up, it seemed like God in the back of me saying, nope, you're not going to give up. You're going to keep going, and I'm not going to allow you to give up. So I get the energy and the courage to just keep going forward.
Do you feel like God talks to you a lot or leads you a lot, while you're doing this?
Yep, I really do. I really do. Because again, some days I just want to be like, you know what? This is not for me. Let me just, quit. And every time I feel like giving up, somebody, if it ain't but one order, here go an order coming, and that's just a sign saying no. Even though you're not getting 30 orders a day, I'm giving you enough to keep you going.
Yep. I think that's a great lesson right there in the fact that, it's the way that you look at it for one. Like you said, you can look at it and be like, oh, it's not the amount that I want. But the fact that you're able to look at it and say, hey, I have this one, and this one is saying, because I got this one today, I can get another one tomorrow, or I can double that tomorrow, or triple that, or quadruple that. You also have the foresight to say that this came from something, this came from God, and you're able to connect that to like, yes, this is going to give me the energy and inspiration that I need in order to keep going. Like, I think they'll be great for, people that are trying to start their business and continue and keep going. Okay. So what is the name of your business, and what is your business? I'm sorry.
Elegant K Fashion, and it's a online clothing boutique.
And what do you sell?
Women's clothing.
Okay.
Women's clothing, sometimes women's accessory, but mainly clothing.
Okay. And you said at one point you sold purses. Have there been like anything else that you tried to sell or wanted to sell?
Yeah, I tried to sell men clothes and shoes, but my focus is really on the women clothing. Like, I don't want to, maybe in the near future that I can maybe go back to the men clothing and shoes, but it's not my vision. So I'm gonna stick with the women clothing.
So what is your vision? So let's say if you could see yourself successful in like 5 or 10 years, what does that look like for you?
I just want to expand. I want to expand. I want to be at a point that I can start hiring people on my team. I want to get to the point of passing it down to my two daughters that they don't have to struggle and work for someone else because I'm leading them in their position of having or carrying on my business. So that's my vision in the near future of having a team, being a super boss that you won't have to come to work stressed out or complaining. It's when you come to work, you can be like, yes, this is what I love to do. I want to be here.
Okay. Okay, well, that sounds good. Okay, we're gonna take like a short turn in this situation and get something else. So not necessarily related to business, but related to life as a whole. What is like one great piece of advice that you have received? Okay, so like for me, like one piece of advice I was given was that, you have to ask for what you want. And it's always going to be a no if you never ask. And sometimes people just are waiting for you to ask, and if you don't ask, you won't ever get it. And sometimes people are willing to do it if you just ask. And so what is one piece of advice that you have gotten or received that you think is great?
That asking, even when I don't want to ask.
So why you don't want to ask?
Um, I guess because I just want to do it on my own to say that I did this on my own. I didn't have any help. I made it happen myself. So that's why I don't never just ask for any help.
But even if someone does help you, you're still doing it by yourself because you had to ask them for the help. You had to I'm not gonna say put your pride aside, but you had to put away part of you to go up to that person because the person could have said no. So it takes a lot even to just ask or to know who to ask and to make sure that whatever you're asking them is the right thing that you need in order to be able to move forward. Or you just don't kind of see it like that?
Mm, not really, because sometimes you have to ask. You need to ask. You have to, sometimes it allows you, if you ask and putting you in a good space that you can expand, or not space, but putting you around the right people, in other words.
Put away part of you to go up to that person because the person could have said no. So it takes a lot even to just ask or to know who to ask and to make sure that whatever you're asking them is the right thing that you need in order to be able to move forward. Or you just don't kind of see it like that?
Mm, not really, because sometimes you have to ask. You need to ask. You have to, sometimes it allows you, if you ask and putting you in a good space that you can expand, or not space, but putting you around the right people, in other words.
Yep. I 100% agree with that. And so something I want to ask you, me and you have had a couple of conversations about relationships and and my thoughts on marriage is different than the average person.
Yes, it is.
And I'm okay with that. But tell me, what are your thoughts on it? Because, what are your thoughts on marriage and love as a whole?
I want to get married again. I do.
Okay, so you said again, so that means that you were married before. Do you have any advice for people that have been married that want to get married? Just basic advice.
Learn your significant other. Do not ignore red flags. Do not, I repeat, do not ignore red flags. If they're doing something once and continue, that's them. So do not, I don't care how much you love them or you feel like you want to be with them. If they continue to do the same thing repeatedly, they're going to continue to do it. It's no changing. You cannot change a woman or a man.
I 100% agree with that. But at the same time, I also know that when you're in that love phase, and that dopamine is kicking in because it's almost like an addiction. You just want to be around that person. Like, it's sometimes hard because you choose not to see it.
Exactly. You be, and it actually be in your face, but you be so in love that you ignore it. Not necessarily ignore it. You don't want to see it, or it's not visible for you to see it. So you continue to be there. You ignore everything. And in my case, I did.
And that's just one thing. It's like, the smartest person, can, overlook it just because that's not what they're choosing to see. We're choosing to see something else. So it doesn't matter how smart you think you are. It has nothing to do with that. Just sometimes, it's life, and sometimes life happens, and that's one of the things that's part of life.
Yeah, and then so another, not to cut you off, another thing with me is growing up in a religious family. And I always said, once I have kids, that's who I want to be married to. So with my first child, I didn't marry the father, but he did propose, but we didn't marry. Well, with the girls, I did marry him. And it was more of me being with him. I don't want a divorce. I want to make it work because of the living in that spiritual family. Whatever happened happens. I wanted to make it work. No matter what happened, I want to make it work. But you can't do that, especially you always have to have a peace. A peace of mind is better than anything. So if it's causing you stress, heartache, and pain, it's not worth being there.
Yeah, and so I asked you this before, but I'm gonna ask you again. So even after that story, you still want to get married?
Yeah, because every man is not the same.
I mean, yeah, but still, I mean, yes, I get it and it makes sense, but hold on.
I don't want to be by myself at a older age. Some people is lonely. They're by themselves, and then when they get of age, they look for their kids to take care of them, and it's not fair. I live my life, so why would I want my kids to take care of me because I don't have a husband or I don't have a wife? It wouldn't be fair to them.
Yeah, I do agree that, like I feel like our kids should be able to live their life and they shouldn't necessarily be responsible for us. But this is our perspective too, and it's all from a different, this is with me doing great. I do agree with that part, but I think, yeah, I think that, okay, so let's say that this was somebody that, was just chilling by themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not really by themselves though. Like, they have the whole world. So they're not by themselves.
Yeah, I still feel like you by yourself because if you get sick, the whole world is not gonna come and take care of you.
I think it is. I've always had great friends and people who I have felt have been like family to me. And I wonder if it's maybe because of, that's my life path or my journey. Like, I've always met people who have been like long-term friends who treated me like family. Like, if I needed something, they were there. If they needed something, like I had them, and I'll be at their house for like Thanksgiving, for the holidays if I didn't go back to like my parents. Like, I've always had people who I felt like have just been like really close to me, on top of like just being able to go see my family whenever I wanted to. And for me, I just never felt like I
You was
was
alone.
lonely, or yeah, I never felt lonely.
It's the same with me. I have friends that I can call on for anything, but I still want someone because even if they are with their significant other, I don't want to burden them of saying, if I'm sick, having taken them away from their spouse or their partner to come and see about me, which I know they would do it, but I wouldn't want them to do that.
Yeah, I think it's probably also as mine, like real high self-sufficiency. I just be like, oh, I can do it by myself. I handle it by myself. But I would say at the same time, I'm open because I want to, like, I don't want to say flow with life, but go with life. If something comes into my space, I'm not going to close it out, especially if I am able to see something in it. So I'm not gonna like just close or push things out, but it's gonna have to sneak up on me. It's not gonna just be like me looking for it. Yeah, yeah. And so with that, like, also, so that's marriage, which is, to me, is different than love. What are your thoughts on like just love as a whole? Like, what do you think love is?
I think love is your actions. You can easily tell me you love me, but does your actions show that you love me? Also, again, with that, your actions of love showing me that you love me. And then again, the question, what is love? Is love more of accepting? Do you actually love me or you just accept me? If that makes any sense.
It does. I feel like in order to understand that, you got to be real grown. You know, you got to be went through some things to know exactly what you mean by that. Because a lot of time people they're just
Oh,
there and they just,
my phone, low
oh,
battery.
oh, you need to charge it?
I think I would be okay.
Okay, well, we can finish with this question and end it on this question. Um, yeah, you know, I think a lot of time people will just kind of accept other people. They would just kind of settle, you know, and they would do all these things.
Yep,
And for me, I also feel like love is based on what another person does for you. You know, it's kind of
exactly.
like I love you because you take me out to dinner every week. I love you because you take the trash out every week. You know, and I just feel like love should be love because it's love. Unconditional love. Like unconditional love is not based on anything. It's just based on me loving you just because, you know?
Yep. Because I don't need you to buy me anything. I can pretty much buy and spoil myself. But I need you to be observant and watch me. And what I mean by that is if you're paying attention to me, you know what I like, you know what I don't, my dislikes. So if you're seeing that I eat peanut butter every day, go and buy a jar of peanut butter, and that's showing me that you're actually paying attention to me. And yeah, you do love me because you're paying attention to me, not because I'm telling you, hey, go get me a thing of peanut butter. If that makes any sense.
Yep. Yep, it absolutely does. So I hope that you know that right person is looking at this and they're gonna find this and they're gonna bring you a big jar of peanut butter and they're gonna be on your front door.
Y'all don't bring me no peanut butter because I can't eat peanut butter. But I was just using that as a prime example. Yeah, I cannot eat peanut butter. But again, another thing, Crystal, a lot of people say that they love that person, but they actually don't. It's more of an investment. And I hate when they say, well, I'm with you because I have invested so much in you. So you're really going to stay with a person because you feel like you invested in them and you're not happy. So if you're not happy, I'm cheating, you cheating. And it doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. And you know, that reminds me, it was a Beyonce song that was out like maybe 20 years ago or something. And I remember everybody going around like, oh, I'm not gonna let this other woman get what I have invested in you, or something like that. So yeah.
I mean, it's just silly to me, I think, because again, it goes back to having a peace of mind. So you'll sit up and say, and you'll take all the headache and the heartache because you feel like someone invested in you or him and just sit there and put up with it. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I would let you have all of this and I would start over to have a peace of mind. And I'm sure whatever I had, I would gain 5 times more.
100%, 100%.
I did. I did.
Mm. And I think that's an important factor, that peace of mind will get you further in life and everything that you do if you're able to have that peace of mind. Like that's really valuable and that should be like, you know, looked at in with everything that you do.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for being my guest. I hope you come back. Oh, how can people find your clothes? Like, what's the best way? Your
You
store,
can
your business.
find me on Facebook at Elegant K's fashion. Let me see. Instagram is elegant_K_boutique. So, and my website is elegantksfashion.com.
Okay.
Yep.
So please go shop, buy all the merchandise, and then go back and buy some more.
Yes, because it's good quality, very, very, very good quality. So yes.
Yes, I 100% agree. If I would have thought about it, I would have put it on.
I'm sorry, with the S on fashions at the website.
Yes, I'll try to put it in the link below as well so that you can just click on that link. And that's going to be it for today. And thank you for being my guest. And that has been today's Crystal's Light.
Thank you.